Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing this evening? And welcome to Echo's Reloading Chamber. Me and Uncle Jim are here tearing it up this evening. Coming to you from Southwest Florida all the way to Utah and the few states that are on the outskirts of those. Chicago, California, New Jersey, New York City, and Seattle. Yeah, those cities. But how you doing tonight, Uncle Jim?
Good. Didn't Illinois ban they were going to do the thumbprint thing and now they're not? So that was a win for them.
Yeah, very much so. So, what have you been doing around the house? Anything cool?
Oh, I'm playing with a shotgun rolling crimp thingy. My son brought home an antique one. And no, I'm not doing squat. I put a pizza in the oven. That's going to be my day. Everything I attempted to do today is just nothing goes right. Yeah, it's one of those days.
It's one of them days where you're just like, yeah, I should have just got up, turned the TV on, and put the slippers on, and that'd have been about it.
Yeah, and if you're placing your bets, I'll probably burn that damn pizza too. So throw that, throw that in the file. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I got a new package in the mail today.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
I
saw
got a little package here.
it. Looks heavier than little.
Yes, it's basically a RCBS Summit Press, and if you check out, RCBS has gone away from their original look of the glossy painted boxes that probably cost them an arm and a leg to a more I guess you would call this a more subdued, maybe mechanical, or what is that they call the decorators call a
Industrial.
industrial. Thank you. A more industrial packaging, and basically, I like it. I think it reminds me of the original RCBS packaging that was much more just plain Jane cardboard with the RCBS logo on it, and it looks pretty good. And
One
here,
step up from Harbor Freight.
yeah. Well, they are doing the a lot of their stuff they're making overseas now, so there is that.
Yeah, you were having issues with it. You were talking with. Remember that rant? It was RCBS and.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some companies just that they get acquired by these large, big, huge companies, conglomerates, and you could just picture these guys. They're a bunch of middle-aged guys sitting around in $300 suits, thinking how they can save the company $5 million over the next 3 years by reducing the cost of manufacturing by $20 per unit by going overseas with some of their builds. Some of the stuff they build now is made over in China, and the original RCBS stands for Rock Chucker something. What the heck?
Careful on the BS part.
Yeah, yeah. Rock Chucker Bullet Sizer, Rock Chuck It Bullet Sizer. I think the original fella started this. Dead Horse was telling me about the story of this guy. He started right after or during World War II when the metals, everything were really hard to acquire for ammunition, because of the war effort. Everybody Europe was putting their 10 cents in. And basically keeping their money as close to their pocketbook as possible. And the other thing that I always said that was really cool about RCBS was it was started in a time of hardship. It was a time where people didn't have a lot of extra money. Us as a country didn't have a lot of extra metal and stuff. It was all being diverted to the war effort and to our industrial revolution. And basically, RCBS was started in that times. And right now, we're in another little bit of a setback due to the COVID and our current leadership in this country, or their lack of, I should say. And basically, this is the Summit Press. It's basically a pretty cool little idea for a press. It's self-contained in its ability to sit straight on a bench without any linkage hanging down below. Yeah. And basically, it can be right or left-handed operated just by lifting this up. It rides on a 2-inch diameter ram. And instead of the ram coming up and down, the actual piece that holds the die in it comes up and down, almost like a Dillon, one of their new RL 1100 presses. It drops this right down on it.
Yeah, and I thought that was neat. Hey, it's got a grease fitting. I didn't never notice that before.
Yeah, it's got a Zerk fitting on there, so that you can use that on there. Basically, we're going to just go ahead and mount this thing up to the inline fab plate that I have and throw it on the bench and do a couple 223 Remingtons, and check their concentricity on their necks to see what this press is capable of doing without a decapping pin in it. And that way I get a true reading on what the neck is doing relevant to the ram and the shell holder.
Okay, I have to flip back and forth on this thing for seeing the side chat, but Jason Stewart said it stands for Rock Chuck Bullet Swage.
Yes.
Okay. Hey guys in the side chat.
Howdy everyone to the side chat. Flipping AR, are you in here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
He's just being quiet. Yep.
Yeah, just listening to you talk. I had to get my water ready. my antihistamines, my water, my tea.
Histamine?
Yeah, Benadryl. I have allergies, especially this time of year. I'm allergic to a lot of foods and ragweed dust, everything, you name it.
You want me to list off who's here in the side chat? Make it easier for you or no?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, Mick Joe is here, MKJO. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, but Andre D'Angelo is here. Vanessa Kitty is here. Jason Stewart is here. Jerry Parker is here. Kingpin. And Pony 47 and 67 Rebel SST AM Say is here. And let's see. Gun Websites is here. Hemi Scrub. And I guess that's it. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Okay, sorry.
You don't have your cameras yet, do you, Echo? Your second one?
No, not yet. I'm taking an insulin injection because my blood sugar started getting a little bit high.
Hang in there.
Maybe I should take my vitamins to make it all even. All right.
Yeah, there you go. Take your vitamins, Uncle Jim. You don't want to be going down Dead Man's Hill there and break a bone from low bone density.
Hey man, I take vitamin C, ester C, no acid. I take selenium and zinc, and I virtually have no chest problems in the allergy season for the past 3 or 4 years, just by taking those vitamins.
Yeah, I just do a multi for men over 50.
I do
They
those.
should have a men over 60 one. Let's see. Curtis Long is here. All right. Yep, taking a vitamin right now.
Glad to be here. I had to bring in my office chair in here. Realigned everything, and I'm down in a hole again, but at least it's comfortable.
You're down in a hole.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
All right, man.
That was. Wait a minute now. Hold on.
Not that kind of hole.
No. Uncle Jim was just singing the other day on his video, and I wanted to say it was that same. Was it Alice in Chains?
No.
It wasn't. Okay.
Oh, who was it? I don't know. Who the heck is that? Yeah. I don't know. It popped up on YouTube, inspired a video, so I did that. Since I'm on restriction right now and can't post videos as Uncle Jim.
Yeah. What? How long do they keep you in the dugout?
I think it's a week for the one they did, which was a video that they already banned that video, but yet they're getting on me for that one again and said I advertised. Do I ever advertise anything on videos?
I've never heard you advertise anything.
And so I can't figure that one out either. And not only that, it's a video they already gave me a strike for or removed. And then someone stole that video and it's still on YouTube. So figure that out. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, that seems like
the dumbest bunch of people I've ever seen.
They are.
So I just get a week. Yeah. So I came up with another handle and did that. So there you go.
Yeah.
And they can't figure that out. So whatever.
What's yours now?
Uncle Jim 2 is the other one.
Okay.
All separate words.
It's going to get worse on here. All these whack tards are going to sit here and just keep flagging everything they don't agree with.
Yeah, mine was the live chat.
I was watching it. I remember the shotgun.
We were showing guns, shooting guns, and they killed that in the middle of the chat. And then I don't know if it raised an eyebrow for dead videos that were already removed. I don't get these people at all.
It's like they pick a fight with people over stuff that's already been, discussed and taken care of. It's like, what do you have? Like the second shift doesn't know what the first shift already did. I mean,
I think it's algorithm type strike thing.
You also got the flag there too, Uncle Jim. You can actually flag that video. You get all these whack jobs on their flag, and then they come up and follow up on a flag. Yeah. The flag is basically an invitation to, hey, all you dumb butts, get on here and what you don't like, flag it. You should never do that. They should take that flag off, but they won't.
Yeah, but the thing is, that video was already removed by them. So why do I get a strike for that one? You got plenty to strike at.
Yeah.
They don't make sense.
Why pick something invisible? I don't get it.
It almost seems like they're just doing it to mess with you, and they're making it obvious that they're messing with you.
Yeah, well, screw them. I just gave them the old, I'm a law-abiding citizen doing legal things in the U.S. and screw off type response.
Yeah.
So, screw off.
Can't we live Zoom on Zoom? It's not free.
Can we do what?
The ham operators are doing Zoom. They're getting like 8 or 10 guests on their live
Yeah.
streams.
Yeah, they're paying for their service.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
it's
get 10 on Zoom. Tin Man did it for a little while. It was like 20 a month or something.
not bad.
And but once you get about 10 people, everyone's talking over each other.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. They'd bump us off now and then, and we get the live chat has ended, a lady's voice, and then we bump back on. Yeah, it was funky.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've done a couple funerals on Zoom. My family members that passed away, they were doing Zoom, so we don't have to travel, you know.
Yeah, and
So
there was my endocrinologist's funeral was on Zoom,
yeah,
and we watched his funeral because he died right around my birthday of last year when the COVID was going real strong, and I was like, wow, they're using Zoom for. Because I mean, we all use, like the StreamYard and all the different software for sharing, just to
yeah.
do our stuff. I've never thought about using it for a funeral.
It's actually nice because if you can't make it, you know, you're far away. You can see the whole thing, you know, and then everyone else is that wants to show their faces and everything, and it works out well. Idaho Rogers is here.
Hey Idaho, what's going on, guys and gals? I am just basically dropping this press onto Dan inline fabrication mount so that it will sit where I can switch it in and out of my press fairly simple without a whole lot of trouble.
So
Just
you
looking.
already have that on your bench. So you just
Yeah,
okay,
I've
easy.
got two. Yeah, it's just an easy peasy thing.
What's up, Idaho? Vanessa. Hello, everyone. In the
And
side
does
chat.
that? How are the mount holes compared to other presses? Because that one's different.
Yeah, this has only got two mounting locations, almost like a rock chucker on the right and left side.
Okay.
But this plate, I notice, has a bunch of holes in it,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure why Dan put these other holes in here because they're clearly not for the mounting, because the mounting hardware goes up into a countersunk so that it'll stay flat. Where these on the sides here are straight holes drilled right through the bench, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not exactly sure why they do that.
Show us what you mean, Ken.
Let me see here.
Make it
I was thinking
universal.
maybe more of a universal plate, like
Yeah, they make it universal for
cover.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Can you guys see those bolts behind the
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and
for
then
another.
there's one there.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually another one there. There's one in the front, and
Yeah,
the same ones are on the other side.
that's a universal. He's got that to
Mm-hmm.
cover several different presses.
Yeah.
Save money.
Well, the thing is,
Manufacturing.
his press, the mounts, it doesn't seem like this would mount to anything else because of these are the only two holes that are 3/8 and they're countersunk, so when they go in the bottom, they go flat against the bottom of the plate. So I'm not sure what the heck you'd put in there
It
besides
could be
that.
it could be a template hole that he never finished for another press, is what I suspect, which is still universal. That way he could modify it a little quicker when it was initially made, faster. That's manufacturing for you. If they think they're
Yeah.
going to do something, so.
I remember when New York City Reloader got that press, and I thought it was neat because, like you say, the linkage is out of the way. It's got a big shaft on it.
Very unusual press.
Yeah.
Very small base, though. That is different, isn't it?
Yeah. Jim's always been a big fan of the big, large base.
I was gonna say you were a fan of a big shaft, but I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Great minds think alike. Me and Jim were we're thinking, how can we word this into a joke? Make everybody
Jason?
Didn't want to go there, but you brought it up.
Yes, I know, it's okay.
Good to see you, Jason.
Yeah, good to see you.
You know, I guess, you know, the rocket science that I must have missed out on that class, because I guess she probably should have went ahead and, Jesus, for the love of little baby Jesus.
I spent my whole life, most of my whole life, excuse me, manufacturing, one form or another. Auto parts, vent shades, food processing.
There we go.
They take shortcuts to, if they plan on doing something down the road to another press, they'll do something or whatever. Especially on initial run of a product like that.
This has been out for 8 years. The only thing that makes me think that he's got some. This must be for mounting other stuff to the press, maybe plate. You know, like maybe accessories he sells that go along with these plates. Because I know he makes quite a few accessories that you can buy for these mounts that give you the option to mount like little ammo holders and Jesus, I know. Yeah, Jim's looking at me laughing right now. He's like, "Hey."
No, I'm reading Vanessa Kitty's.
She's probably making fun of me too.
Yeah.
I'm blind, okay, Vanessa? Give me a goddamn break here, right? This isn't like I'm a sighted guy here trying to do this.
Is that shaft hard enough, she says?
That shaft is a nice stiffy. I like a nice stiff shaft, and it's lubricated like a crazy man right now. Every time I grab it, it's like grabbing something wrapped in Vaseline.
Oh God.
Okay, when you bought that plate, it was for that press? Is that
Yeah.
the thing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty easy to reach too.
And I need to find before this takes a dive off of there, because I could just see that happening.
Okay, Jason Stewart's kind of what I was thinking. Is it for a mounting bin?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it's for, is like a bin of some sort. Like he has mounts that actually bolt to the top of the work surfaces so that you can have tools. Like if you got a Dillon, you can have your Allens that Dillon makes. You can also have little bins that he makes that are on kind of like a movable arm, and I always wondered where they bolted, and I thought they bolted to the actual plate, but maybe on this one he's using a different design, possibly. I don't know.
Are the holes countersunk, Echo?
No, not the ones going through the plate. They are not countersunk. Just the ones holding the press on are countersunk.
Okay, that makes me think that he's got it there for something future or something. But.
You know, I'm digging your lightweight small AR in the background. That's very handy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
we can get canned for that. Cut off.
I've got actual live rounds in that.
Oh.
That shoots a .13 caliber. No, I'm just kidding.
The libtards don't know any better.
Miniature guns. Yes, they make them.
Yeah, they have. I've seen those as well, Jim. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Some idiot out there believe if you say it, that you can load a miniature gun and shoot it.
I got to pull that pizza.
Oh yeah, don't let your pizza burn.
Yeah, just about did that.
I had to put my middle leg on my bench. It was vibrating too much. I had to put my 4x4
Your
back.
middle leg is?
No, my middle leg on my bench.
I was about to say, you might have a serious medical issue there. You need to get checked out.
I agree. It's as long as my leg, but you know.
Oh, Jesus.
Never get your middle leg caught in a press.
I had to follow up on something. The way you've been talking, Echo.
Well, I feel like I'm trying to hump a watermelon right now. Some of these, it's just like, man, can I get something to? I guess I'm gonna have to just lay this down and get it started.
That's what I do. They're kind of a
Because
pain.
there's no telling how long I'll be there trying to do that.
Mm-hmm. You got it going now. Okay, he come up with a good system on that. Those plates.
Oh yeah, it'd be even better if we could mount them. The bolts easier, but nobody makes anything that makes mounting the press. Especially if you're mentally impaired like I am, because obviously something's going on here. What I'm going to try to do is get it a little bit tight.
I watched a video a few years ago of a guy that actually did the tall mount.
Yeah.
7-inch or something like I got here, and the guy was smart. Yeah, he didn't sound goofy, but he said he struggled all day Saturday to put together his upright riser mount from Inline Fabrication. He gave him a ding in a review. I says, how in the world does it take 4 or 8 hours to doggone put the thing together? I put mine together probably in 10 minutes without even any instructions. I just
well, that's because you have that scholastic improvement skill training. I went to public school, so I've got that. Nah, I'm just kidding. I went to private school, but the bottom line there is that don't get you much anymore.
Well, I've always been into mechanical things in my head, even cars, motors, even machinery. I worked on machinery my whole life too, at manufacturing, robotics and stuff. So I just look at something and pretty quick, and I usually figure it out.
Dummy Round showed up.
Who did?
What's up, Dummy Round?
Ah, Dummy Round.
Good to have you.
Okay, counters up.
What's weird, Echo, Uncle Jim? There's only, I think, 4 bolts holding this riser together. If I remember. 4. There's no way you could be hard to do. And he said he was a CAD operator.
There was a problem right there.
Yeah,
there's a problem right there. He spent too many years on AutoCAD, and it ruined his brain. That happens to a lot of people that I've talked to, that their brains will go to shit after about 6 years of working AutoCAD. I don't know if you've ever seen the book for that program, but it's like a telephone book to LA. The thing is gigantic, and deciphering it. Okay, this has to be flat because I know this has a little doohickama thingy that mounts.
I had a friend in the 90s. He did AutoCAD, and he did drafting.
He died a horrible death because of it?
No, he didn't seem to. The only thing I ever noticed him, he told me one time I was in a bar, and he says, looked at me, and he said, 16 ounces isn't a pint. I said, what are you talking about?
Oh, he was talking all that metric crap with you.
Yeah, I said 16 ounces of pint. He couldn't figure. He thought it was 32 or something. I says, no.
Yeah, that's what happens. You start messing with that poor man's English. That's what I call it. That metric system.
The boy, he could draw up plans and produce, stuff for manufacturing with that AutoCAD. He was good at it.
Yeah, he always make a good drawing of it, and then when it come down to actually producing it, that was a different story.
I'm not laughing at this guy. You know, I just
No,
thought it very odd. That,
I'm
you know,
busting his ass.
yeah.
I'm breaking balls is all I'm doing.
Mhm.
AutoCAD is a very
Mhm.
hard program to learn, and those
Mhm.
guys that do that are like rock stars.
Mhm.
They really that program is behind so many things that no one even realizes. Their cars are made with that program. Their
Mhm.
television sets, their everything is. And then you get somebody
Yeah.
that takes that interest in that, and then gets a mechanical engineering degree to go along with it, and they're set for life.
Your vents in your AC and the ceiling walls, they're even designed on AutoCAD typically for manufacturing.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Women's fake breasts are designed on
Mhm.
AutoCAD.
I remember the first few years. I've been on YouTube for years, even though I never joined the live stream or anything. Did
You,
many videos
how many fake boobs have you touched?
in my life.
Yeah, in your life, because I'm just discussing the topic's relevancy to fake boobs and AutoCAD, and there's
Yeah,
women.
yeah. I've dated a few.
Jeez, like I've dated a few. All right, so we got the
Two or three
plate
pair.
where I wanted to see now.
They did
See,
come
I'm
in
a
pairs.
weird guy. I'm OCD and
Mhm.
baseline semi-retarded, and because of that,
Reloaders, OCD people make good reloaders. We
so
like to
you've
do
been told, you've been lied to.
now,
Let me explain to you. You've been lied to.
we like to do quality work. I'm what you call a what is it? I'm a
A
perfectionist.
perfectionist.
Yeah, I do not like not and even on a job. That's how I pretty much excelled through the years. I do not like doing something half.
Half ass, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing here. And a lot of people used to drive them freaking nuts. They'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'd be like, "I'm doing it the right way, so I don't have to do it again in a year or two."
Yep.
And they're like, "Well, you get paid again to do it." And I'm like, "Well, dude, that's not how I work. So
Mm-mm.
either you fire me or you figure out the right way to do job." Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, it was you're fired. I was like, okay, no problem. Like, I don't want to work for you anyways. If you're gonna half-ass and do that to people, I gotta talk to these people. I used to do a little construction stuff on the side, do tile and marble and stuff like that. And if you notice what I was looking at here, is I know there's a little catch here that I'm never going to use that bolts onto the front of this press.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it? The two little holes right there. I don't
Yeah,
know if you can see.
that's
Can you
it.
see those? Okay. Well, this front of this edge of this lip, okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, was flush with this one, but was recessed on this one. It's set back behind it. So I made it so that
Mm-hmm.
the lip coming over this edge is the same
Yeah.
on both sides. So that when I bolt that little thing there, I don't run into anything with this plate. I can just bolt right onto it. Now this
Mm-hmm.
should go right on to. Oh, I got to
That's
move that other press.
that's the way I am. I don't like nothing crooked. I line it
Yeah, I
up.
don't want nothing crooked.
Jason wants to know if you got the small handle.
Yes. I always use the smaller handles on these presses on my Forester and on my Summit. I've actually had the small handle for 3 months. I was waiting on the rest of the press from Brownells, and Brownells never got it in, but Graff and Sons did. So I went ahead and ordered it from Graff and Sons.
I decided to wait on the 650 sale for a while. Afraid it'll force me into a buy on that RL 1100 that I don't want to deal with right now financially.
Yeah, whatever. You're gonna buy that RL.
In
I'm
time.
buying. Let me grab me a What did I do? Oh, there it is.
I got so much other stuff I need to do, and I must go. Well, the only thing is I may not get quite as much out of the press in time, but yeah, so be it.
What are you talking about?
A 650. I stopped the sale.
You're not going to sell it?
Not right now. I'm gonna wait a while. Because if I sell it, I'm gonna want to put 1,000 with it and get the RL 1100, and I don't want to do that right this minute.
Oh, you don't want to shell out the extra cash, is what you're really telling us.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the car to repair. I think I got a little dental work I need to still get done. So.
Little dental work, car repair. Let your teeth rot. Let the engine fall out. Just get the press. Everybody's like, what in the hell is he telling that guy to do?
Now, I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel of my car. Definitely. I can't wait.
Yeah, I would be looking forward to that myself if I was you. I don't know how you've been able to stay out of that.
I go out there occasionally, Echo, and I open the door and I sit down in it. Just go, oh yeah, I remember. And just maybe once every 2 or 3 months, I'll go out there and sit a minute.
All right, get that little freaking. Come here, girl. Come on, get you in that hole. Where's that hole? Put some hair around that damn hole. Oh, I know what's wrong. It's got a little rubber thing on it. We don't like those rubber things. We don't use any of those. We were born in the 70s. We don't use any of that rubber latex stuff. That's for kids that don't want to catch a cold.
I don't use straws. I used to tell girls I dated, I said, I don't eat or touch or taste nothing my lips don't touch first. Straw does that.
All right, let's see if we got this thing on here straight.
Yeah, I'm anxious.
It's going to tell you. Yeah, I will once I get my fat self out of the way. Oh, well, gee, I guess when you turn them the wrong way, the little, and you know what? It's a good thing that this floor, oh, there it is, isn't black, because that would have been a nightmare right there. Okay. So this is why I've got a sign up here that says only do one of these at a time. Come on.
I wish I had your 2 boxes in my room. I like the way yours is set up.
Don't tell me I just boogered this thing up. Come on, get on there. Yeah, get on there. That's what you're saying. Okay. Both of those are tight. Got the little rubber doohickey thing that I wondered why I couldn't get the thing to sit down on there. Got that. Got the small handle here. That's coming.
You got a stainless steel top on that bench, don't you?
Yeah.
I like that.
The guy that built this bench is a 3rd generation welder. He's a buddy of mine, and I told him what I wanted, and in the size, and he built it. Oh, didn't want to do that. Didn't want to slam that thing down on there, but that's what happens sometimes when you don't know which way things are going to go for a second.
How tall is your bench? How tall did you get it built?
This is 43, I think, inches.
Wow. How tall are you?
5'11".
Okay.
Let me set this down.
I think I set mine up about 40 or 41. I couldn't handle it. A little too high for me at the time.
I have to have the height because I spent my whole life working standing. And, as a mechanic and when I was driving tow trucks, I mean, the only time I was sitting was when I was driving a tow truck. Then when I get out, I was, working. And I just got used to doing everything on my feet. And once you do that, it makes it a little hard to go back to anything else.
I have a hard time sitting over the years.
Boy, that's got a horrible rough spot in it right there.
Man,
I can hear that. You hear that?
No. Is it lube good all the way
Yeah,
around?
it's covered in lube, but it's got a rough sound, like it's just rough.
Sometimes, manufacturing, they let stuff go through QC. Hopefully it'll smooth out.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see it. The scratches, and it's scratching a little bit.
Shouldn't be doing that.
Well, packaging, shipping, they fall. The true story here is going to be to throw a 223 shell holder in there, and
I like the grease fitting, but also I like using motor oil on those rounds.
Yeah, I've been told by RCBS what they use on their rams is they use it's like a Vaseline. That's what they use, and they told me if I'm gonna lube it, that's the best stuff to use, just to use Vaseline and go back over it with a nice thick helping of it. There we go.
I was thinking mine had a dry spot causing that. Even though
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but everywhere I grab it on there is covered in grease.
Usually it's where they ream out the casting.
Yeah, there's like a high spot.
They clean it up, and sometimes the casting leaves it. Okay, yeah, so the other companies will say 30 weight motor oil.
You know what I do to my presses when I buy them? I disassemble them. If it's oil, and I take the rams and all that, and I actually put the red and tacky grease on it, put it all back together. Even my T7 and my Big Boss. I didn't do the Dylan, but I did the other ones here.
Yeah, that is actually a good stuff to use because the pressure, it's made for high pressure usage. So basically it works very well on rams because there's a lot of pressure going in between that ram and the collar on it.
Well, you would think Redding, greases these presses. What they did is they put a little light oil on the bolts that run through all the linkage and stuff. And when you take it down, you go, what? And you just wipe that oil off, run your grease on it, run it all back together, tighten it back down, and your press man will run for several years there, perfectly smooth as a whistle. So I always take a press down if I'm able.
I'm over here fishing for a freaking looks like okay on Lee shell holders. A number 2 is a what? Is that I think that's 223, a number 2. It's either a number 2 or a number 4.
I got a chart here in the book, but I have to go grab it.
It's either number 2 or number 4. It might be a number 4. Does anybody in the side chat know for a Lee shell holder? I usually know right off the top of my head.
Let me type it in. Let me go in.
Yeah, see if you know what it is.
What number is it?
It's 2? Either a number 2 or a number 4.
What caliber?
For 223 Remington. Looks like it's going to be a number 4 because I have 2 of them, and that's telling me that probably.
Here we go, 230 shell holder. I like that.
Probably a number 2 is 308 and 30-06. And number 4 is got to be 223.
I'm not that familiar. Yeah, number 4 is 223.
Okay. Good enough for perfect for me.
382.
380 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to lower my workbench, Vanessa.
What do you have to do?
I'm gonna lower it because I tend to be sitting now a lot for these streams. So I'm gonna lower it down some. My workbench.
Oh, because you sit behind it?
Well, I sit in drafting chairs, but when I do live streams, the chairs kill me. So I brought in a leather office chair like a judge would. So I bought it at a thrift store, probably some government chair, high dollar. And I brought it in here, turned the computer around, and that way I can sit comfortable.
God, does that sound horrible. I don't know if you guys can hear this over here.
I would call them about it. You could take that thing off and, flush it out and lightly emery cloth it, and it might stop it.
Trying to see.
Something not right. Shouldn't be making that noise. They're good. They'll replace it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about if I got one that's got this much.
And unfortunately, stuff gets through. They make so many of them.
Yeah. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to blow out this die with a little brake cleaner. And I'm going to throw it on here.
I bought a Big Boss 2 years ago from Brownells.
Yeah.
The round man had all kinds of slop in it. I called them up already and said, no, it shouldn't have. I said, okay. I sent it back to Brownells. They sent me another one. And
yeah. Brownells is good. Good company.
No movement in the one I got now. None. Got a little on my T7, but if there was motor oil, that takes it out, believe it or not.
Yeah, mine is rough as get out. I mean, I've never had one that rough before. As that, I mean, it's so loud. It's like grinding.
Yeah.
And I think what it is that these presses just aren't packaged well enough and they get dropped. This one had some holes in the box where you could tell the press had come through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not usually a good sign.
You could have a rough patch inside that thing. It might need some.
Oh, yeah, you most certainly can. I mean, that's most definite. And we're going to put some load on it when we go to clean when we do the brass.
Mm-hmm.
On here, what do I got over here? Gun scrubber.
Could be a little metal in there. Blow it out. You got any WD-40 to blow through it?
Yeah, I don't want to blow anything down through it because it's been my thing. If it's stuck in there, it ain't going to come out from just a little WD-40. You'd have to take the press apart. And it sounds like there's a high spot on there somewhere. So I'm not really sure. This press may have to go back, which sucks because these presses are hard to get right now.
Yeah, the emery cloth might work in there, but then again, you got to take it apart.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking a brand new press apart when they should have sent it. It should have passed factory. They should have ran it up and down and been like, hey, this isn't right. But, it's what you get when you're bought by a big, huge company like Bushnell, and your quality control goes out the door for more money. Well, this is absolute, dude. I cannot win for losing. It's like Uncle Jim today. I'm putting this straw in this damn bottle of shit to blow my dye out, and it just keeps blowing the. It's like the straw is defective, and it's clogged. Yeah, so much of the straw. I guess we'll just use the spray net. Now let's just make sure I don't spray myself right back in the face, because that would just make everything perfect. Alright. Let this thing dry out a little bit. That's what happens when you pay 80 cents dollars left a can for gun scrub instead of brake clean powder blast. You pay a little bit more for the brake free powder blast, but you don't have problems with your straws like that. That stuff works every time. It's the same shit. Denatured alcohol is all it is. Here's a little tip for you guys and gals out there in the side chat. You need gun cleaner, you can buy cans that you can pressurize with your air compressor. You can put 30, 40, 60 psi in them, and you can put whatever cleaner you want down in the bottom of it. And you simply put denatured alcohol that you can order off of Amazon for $24 a gallon, or you can go up to Home Depot and pay $27 for a gallon of it. And you put it inside there, put the lid on it, pressurize it, and the only thing you have to do is every time you fill it with denatured alcohol, you take the O-ring out and you wipe it down with Vaseline. You wipe it down with Vaseline, and then you put it back in there and tighten it back up, and that thing will work. You put about whatever it says to put inside there as far as your pressure. Usually they're in there about 40 psi. And that now you got a pressurized denatured alcohol, just like powder blast by Break Free and Gun Scrubber. And you got it for pennies on the freaking versus, a shitload of money on the actual can. Plus, you're saving the environment, too, because you're using compressed air instead of CO2 or a nitrogen.
I know that the gun scrubber used to come in synthetic safe gun scrubber. I have not been able to find it for the past couple of years.
Okay, I just barely got it to cam over, and then I'm tightening it up. I don't know if you guys can see this, but what I'm doing is I basically put the dye in there, put the shell holder in here, ran it down till it kissed the shell holder, ran it down basically all the way. Here, I'll do it again. I'll show you. I don't want to mislead anybody. Okay, you loosen it up like you're starting a dye. Loosen it all the way up. You let this go all the way to the bottom of its stroke. You tighten this down until it hits the top of that shell plate and just kisses it with a bump. You tighten it up until it won't go no more while holding the ram in a downward position. You tighten this down until it doesn't go anymore. Then you open it up and you give it just a little tiny bit of a turn, maybe an eighth to at most a quarter. And then you come back down, it's going to hit that shell plate, and then it's going to lock, and that's your overcam. When it overcams, you tighten your shell holder, your locking ring. What that does is that makes the dye and the shell holder sit on a 90-degree square angle to each other, so that you know when you come down on this shell holder, that die is riding perfectly square to the top of that shell holder. That's what you want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some 223 Remington brass, which I got a big jug of it over here.
All right, in the side chat, Stuart was asking about your dehumidifier box. And then Uncle John wanted to know if your press was inspected by Shirley.
There was no inspection sticker inside the box. I think Shirley is Lee employee.
He's joking.
Okay.
And
No,
then
if it would have been inspected by Shirley, it wouldn't have made it out the door.
And then your Rugard refrigerator looking thing is a dehumidifier, correct?
Yes, that is a dehumidifier box. We use these in Florida. It's made by a company called Ruggard, Ruggard. They're available on Amazon. They are high dollar. They're not, but they're made for high dollar electronic equipment, like video recording equipment, camera lenses, anything that can get moisture in it and cause mold. It gets rid of it. So basically, it's got a small heating unit and a fan, and it heats up the inside to 80% 80% Fahrenheit. And when hot air gets pushed into a cabinet that has moist, cool air in it, the hot air expands, forcing the cold, damp air out of the openings on the cabinet. And it takes about 3 to 4 hours to do it. And it can take up to 24 hours depending how moist the articles you're putting inside it. But it basically, when I open up my die boxes for my Lees, the paper is like so dry. You could like just use a piece of spark and it would light the paper on fire. That's how it dries it out that well.
Okay, and then DJ Play Nice is here. He says,
"Hey DJ, what's going on, brother?"
He says rock with a W.
Yeah. Okay, just a little bit of brass. Grab a little bit of that. Using a little bit of Lee. Basically, what I do is, a lot of guys do this. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. I just take some of the Lee because this is the cheapest stuff. And basically, it's the cheapest. And it's actually what they sell to the guys that are actually making brass ammunition, like Redding or not Redding, but Hornady and Starline. They buy this stuff in the commercial can of it. You can buy it in 10-gallon drums for about $1,000, and it's made for drawing brass. And Lee uses it because that's what you're doing when you're pushing brass into a resizing die, is you're working it. And basically what I do is I put a couple little streaks in there. Then this is enough to do a heck of a lot more cases, because I might do more. But basically, you put it in there. You put the lid on here. This is just a little cheap Tupperware dish from Walmart. And then you just give it a wrapping around. And you'll notice all of that stuff I put on the bottom is gone, and the cases aren't shiny anymore. They're starting turn a dull, and you can use this stuff wet or dry. And this stuff is great because you can use it. It doesn't affect powder or primers at all. So that's another plus. Little plug there for Lee. There's a bunch of other ones you can use. I've got quite a few of them. The Redding wax, the Unique, and the RCBS has a one that's uses a sponge where you roll the brass back and forth with a little applicator. And then Hornady also makes a one shot, which is an aerosol.
And Imperial.
Oh, yeah. All right. Make sure we got good. All right. Oh, that little short handle doesn't give you much. All right, there we go. All right. Now what we're going to, wow, that looks good. Let me get my glasses and wipe this case off and take a gander at it. Take a little gander. Almost like the mountain. So Jim, do you have to bush hog your property?
Oh, I wish I had one, but no, not much.
You just hit it with the weed whacker around the outskirts where the driveway and the areas are, and maybe a mower where you've got.
Well, yeah, the driveways are scrub oak, so we take the cordless chainsaw, snippers. But yeah, brush hog would be nice. I just haven't found one
At the right price yet.
Yep. Same with the what do you call it? Not a skid steer. What's the thing that's box blade? Smooths out the gravel in the ground, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I got the bucket on the back of the tractor right now, and I'd have to put that somewhere, you know. I saw one rigged up, you know, the like hedge trimmers that are reciprocating.
Yeah.
I saw one that is for a tractor that hangs over the side. So you just drive by and you just snip everything, you know, down the driveway.
Oh wow, that actually makes a lot of good sense.
It does. You can't hit a rock or anything. It'll you know, stay out of the way. It's got guards, you know. And that looked awesome. That'll go like 4 feet back, you know. But the mower thingy, you know, that hooks to the back, I'd have to keep backing up. That's a pain. I want something that hangs over the side and just lops everything down.
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm just setting up a piece of brass here to get the concentricity on it.
Yeah, the giant hedge trimmer would be sweet. Slice bar? Yeah, I don't know what they call it. But it's kind of a eccentric tool. It's not as common.
checking this brass.
How do you check your headspace, Echo?
With 223, I use a Hornady comparator, and basically what I do is I take 5 pieces of brass, because it's all mixed head stamp, so you don't really know what chamber you're getting that stuff out of. And I compare it, and then I zero it on the biggest one with the highest amount of expansion on the case shoulder, and I zero it there. And then I'll go ahead and, like I just showed you, I kiss the shell holder with the die, and then I go just a tiny bit more so that it knocks all the play out, takes all the play out of the linkage. And then I will measure it and keep advancing the die until I get negative 5 thousandths.
Below semi-min, 0?
5 thousandths below whatever the lowest. Yeah. All right, I can barely see this, guy, so I'm gonna need you to help me here. I'm gonna spin this die, this piece of brass on here, and let's see here. Can you see that gauge, guys?
Yep, I see it.
All right, here.
That's pretty good. 1.5 thou, 2 thou.
That's about what I get.
Yeah, it looks like 1.5 max. Mostly 1.
And that could be even case neck,
It's got a little bit of a imperfection on the neck. That's probably what that is. Little bump.
That's a good round.
Yeah, but what I'm doing is I'm checking the concentricity of this press. So, because it's making this goofy noise, I'm not going to take this press with a noise like that in it.
I wouldn't either.
Well, it might go away, cut itself a groove, and it won't move around.
Who did you get it from?
Graf and Son.
They do exchanges?
Oh, yeah. You see if I'm still. Oh, wow.
I don't know. You need to do about 3 or 4 pieces at least.
Oh, yeah. I am. I'm just running it up and down, listening to it, see if it's getting any quieter whatsoever. And it seems like it might be.
Well, yeah, after lots of loadings, and like I said, it might cut a little groove in there, but that'll stabilize it. It's stuck in the groove. It'll be tongue and groove, baby.
If it ain't good, I send them back. That's just the way I am.
Yeah. I'm usually but you got to think they're rushing shit out the doors right now, and there's a bunch of, you know, there's a bunch of shit that could be causing it. Let's see, where am I at on this brass? All right, let's see where this one's going to move.
That one's really good.
Mhm.
That one's good. It probably kisses one thou and then stays under. Hell, I'd take that.
That's good press for concentricity.
Yeah.
Just got to get you one that's smooth.
The gauge is a little fuzzy on the camera, but it looks like it's really good. It's not bouncing around hardly at all. I mean,
Barely.
yeah, that one's a good one. Hell yeah.
Yeah, if it can do that time and time again, we don't have a problem.
No, you can't expect zero either, you know.
No.
Well, I can.
Well, not all the time. Not all the time. Come on now.
No. Yeah, because you got brass is manufactured. You know, it's going to have a little difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So most time I suspect that's what it is.
Yeah, if you trimmed your necks, if you gosh darn it, now I lost it. I do.
You were talking about trimming necks.
Turning that.
Turning.
Oh,
Yeah,
turning necks. Yeah, turn your necks.
I do that to black out because, you know, then it should be really good because you just kiss the high spots.
Yeah, it would be. Even on my T7, I only get a half a thou to a thou on range brass.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for on this is damn near zero. Because the way this press is designed, it's supposed to let the piece that holds the die.
Echo. DJ Play Nice wants to know what would be out of spec when checking concentricity.
Anything. Okay, if you're using a decapping pin, I've seen decapping pins on $100 dies give you 0.003 run out on a neck. I'm using a Lee $18 die without the decapping pin assembly in it. And that's what we're seeing on this is range brass that I picked up that we all walk on at the range where I'm at, that this is all in the dirt, walked and crunched on. I basically bring them back, I wet tumble them, then I take them out and I wash and rinse them, I dry them, I decrimp the primer pockets, I uniform the primer pocket, and basically I trim the neck after I do the full length sizing, and I trim the neck back to 1.745 or 1.740, and that would be the last time I'll ever cut that piece of brass. In other words, the brass, the head will either warp on it from loading it, to 5.56 charges, and the extraction causes head warpage on the AR-15 M16 rifle is known for that, or actually the carbine version and short-barreled rifles and stuff like that are known for it. The deal is, by the time you have to trim this, if you trim it at 1.740, by the time you have to trim it, the head will be too warped, the primer pocket will be too loose, or the neck of the mouth of the case will split. So you've got limited amount of time in an AR-15 rifle or a Mini 14 just because of the really hard extraction on the brass. But you also got to remember, these rifles were made to fire a cartridge one time, extract it, and make sure it makes it out of the chamber, and never to use the brass again, and never to use the magazine. After that magazine's empty, you eject it, it hits the ground, and you walk on. So there's that. Let's see what we got on this one. I'm hoping.
I have a carbine gas link, but I wished I had mid links or either adjustable gas.
We can just change your barrel. Yeah.
Yeah.
You watching this?
That one's really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
barely.
Moved a hair. You're okay. What was that? A half thou?
I don't know if that was my finger. I'm just trying to keep pressure on it and roll it.
That one's like right on. That's not moving.
So the only one that really moved was the first piece.
Yeah, and that was still acceptable.
Yes. So basically, we're getting a little bit more wear. Let me see what this sounds like. Okay, that sounds pretty freaking horrible. Let's see, are we getting any huge scuff marks on here? Yeah, it looks like on that side, maybe.
When you talk about out of spec, he was asking that. That's also up to you what you want to be at.
Yeah.
Yeah. How picky you want to be on it, or how OCD.
Well, yeah. I mean, the range brass. If I can get 0 run out on range brass to 1,000 on range brass, then I don't have to worry about my my freaking brass that I spend good money on for shooting precision.
You would see max grade ammo with a bullet run out of concentricity of sometime 2 and 3 thousandths.
Oh yeah. I've seen federal match, gold medal match ammunition vary 4 or 5 thousandths of an inch in overall length, and I'm doing case to head, case ogive to head, or a bullet ogive to head, not from tip to the head of the case, because tips can vary depending on bullet manufacturing, especially if you got a soft tip lead tipped bullet or a plastic tip. A lot of times those little flexy plastic things will flex or move a little bit in that hollow point that it's in and give you false readings. So I always do a base to ogive reading, and I get variation there quite a bit, even with the expensive ELD match grade bullets and gold medal match cartridges.
I got a 308 bullet comparator, but I'm on a 223 bullet comparator.
Yeah, I got a 308 too, and I use the Hornady, the cheap setup on the.
I've got a Hornady kit, but I bought a 308 steel from Sinclair for the neck radius. It's a little bit. I like it better, and my bullet comparator is Sinclair too. I use the Hornady sometimes. The aluminum comes in there. But,
is this another one? Because it's not moving.
Yeah, that's a good one. That press is putting out good press.
Yep, I wouldn't worry about the noise. It'll go away.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
It'll leave a nice groove in there so it can't turn on you.
It's a little loose, anyways. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, that looks good. The bounce you see there with this gauge, because I like the 21st Century a little better than this because it's got a wheel on it.
Yeah.
This will jump.
Nice.
I'm holding this, if you guys can see my fingertips, and when I go to roll it, you'll see a little jump there, just a little bit sometimes. Yeah, and that's because my fingers are actually moving the brass in the roller bearings that they're sitting on.
Yeah.
No, and who's to say that the brass doesn't have a little nick in the actual mouth right here? And I'm hitting that every time I go around as well, but I don't see. It looks really pretty and shiny, but I still a little bit of junk on there.
I wouldn't get too picky about that. That look good.
I want that 21st century
I don't think you'll
concentricity
notice
gauge.
that shooting it.
Oh no.
Really?
Jim, this is the thing. I bring this stuff to the range, and guys are like, reloading ammunition, it's more of just a hobby. It's not really that you're saving any money or you're making anything more accurate. And I go, excuse me? And
Mhm.
and I've got a 30 caliber ammo can that's just got a plastic Ziploc baggie in it made for ammunition with, the date I manufactured it, the charge, the primer, the case base to ogive length. And I go, okay, this is range picked up right here from this range. I picked it up, I cleaned the brass, I prepped it, and I loaded it. Here is my can of ammunition. You shoot as much as you want at that target at 100 yards, and you tell me that reloading ammunition is not more accurate and saves you money. He fired about 15 rounds, and he goes, Jesus Christ, dude. He's like, I got match ammunition that don't shoot that good. And I'm like, that is all
Mhm.
sub-minute of an angle at 100 yards, smaller than an inch, okay? That is out of what is that you're shooting? A DPMS rifle? That's out of a $600 AR-15 with a $100 barrel, if that, in it. And that is range pickup brass with the cheapest bullets. Hornady would sell me in 500 packs. They're seconds, and they're got little scratches and imperfections on them, just like the brass. But my powder is to the 10th of the grain every single cartridge. My run out is less than 1,000th on my necks, and I spend time in the primer pockets, and I spend time expanding these mouths, so my neck tension is 1,000th of an inch on every single one of these cartridges. And then I throw them through a factory crimp die and jam about a medium heavy crimp on them, just so they don't move and change my overall distance to my lands and grooves. And this ammunition, just junk ammo that I pick up off the ground and reload, I can get this ammunition to shoot sub 1 inch at 100 yards, or sub 2 inches at 200, sub 3 inches at 300 all day long. And you look at it, it's some of it's 5.56, got the shield with the year it's been manufactured. Some of it's 223. Some of it's made in Czechoslovakia. Some of it's made here in the States. It's made all over the world because it's NATO ammo I'm picking up, and some of it's regular, Federal Lake City, and some of it's just Federal Eagle and or Winchester white box. But the one thing about it is I loaded it and it all shoots under an inch. And that's without me taking a whole hell of a lot of time. This is me checking it. But once I get started using the press and loading, I don't do this to every cartridge. Now, what I do with any bottlenecked rifle ammunition is I hand check every cartridge weight to make sure that I've got 25.2 grains of Varget in this cartridge case, and that my 55 grain full metal jacket with boat tail and a canalure Hornady bullet is set right where I want it, and that this case is cut to the exact same length as its brother and sister cases that are sitting next to it. Volume, I'm not worried about it because I'm shooting a 22 here, so I've already got low case volume. So as long as I'm getting the powder that I'm specifically using, which is Hodgdon Varget, as long as I get this powder up over this shoulder ridge where it goes into the shoulder's leaning angle, I know for a fact that bullet's going to come down and give me a nice snug sit right on top of it, and that this powder is going to push this bullet at right around 2,800 feet per second out of a 16-inch barrel, and it is going to be accurate. And That's what loading accurate ammunition is, finding a routine that works and then following that routine every single round. You
A
got
lot of
any?
people don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys got anything to say to chime in on that about?
I was going to say with ammunition to a factory, they're running such high quantity. They try to keep the quality right, but sometimes the machine can get off, and you'll have variations. That's just the nature of manufacturing. That's why you see those rounds in those max grade that be off. You cannot run hundreds of thousands of rounds and keep a machine going wide open, and man cannot keep that machine absolutely perfect every time.
Well,
You're constantly tweaking it.
yeah, the problem is that you're asking a lot of a machine to stay within that tenth of a thousandth. A lot of these machines nowadays don't run to a thousandth; they'll run to a tenth of a thousandth. And when you're running that close of tolerances, basically in a CNC machine, they're using specialized CNC bits that are able to spin 30,000 RPM without coming apart or bending or warping or molesting the cut surface in any way. These are carbide bits that some of them are $600 to $6,000 a piece, depending on the size of the bit and the machine and what it's doing and how many accesses it's got cutting at once. And the thing is, you may be 1/2 a 10,000th out when you start manufacturing, but by the time you're on part 10,000, now you're a whole 10,000th out, because the blades have dulled a little tiny bit in running those 10,000 parts. And then they average, okay, if 10,000ths dulls it to where we're getting plus 10,000ths instead of a 1/2 a 10,000ths, how many sets of 10,000th parts can we run before we're above the maximum tolerance for this part? And we call that miking parts and doing within what they call a spec. Like on mil spec things, you've got, usually with mil spec things, you've got somewhere within 10,000ths of an inch that you can plus or minus with before you start having serious problems with fitting over, going from lot 1 to lot 1,000. So this one is the fourth one I think we've done on here. And you'll also notice, what I like to tell people about these Sinclair case gauges is, you see where it's coming to on this needle spectrum. You see it's just coming to about 95 thousandths up here. Every single time I pull my piece of brass out and stick it on this machine, I want to make sure I see that needle hitting in the same area every single time. That tells me that my press is resizing my neck correctly to the same amount of force I'm using every time in there, and it's telling me if I've got a square die hitting my shell holder. Because if I didn't, you'd see this number jump erratically when I'm setting this brass on here, and as I rotate it, you'd see that jump once again. Now we're going to keep going. Now, AR,
You ever seen those? You ever seen those machines when they're going down and seating and sizing brass commercially? Boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do I got on this one, guys?
Very little. What I see.
Hardly anything.
Hardly.
Quarter of a thou, half thou max, maybe on the bump, but that could be your fingers.
Yeah. So we're turning out some pretty.
We have Dead Horse here. We got Willie Bullet Man is here. We have James Pullard is here, and Tim S is here.
Hey Willie. Hey Dead Horse.
What, Willie and Dead Horse? What is going on, gentlemen?
And don't forget James and Tim S.
Hold on here. I'm looking at the screen here because I'm a retard.
Gates Jr.'s here.
Tim S. James Pollard. Sorry, brother. My eye is messing with me. I've been looking at these little tiny numbers for too long.
Gates Jr.
Oh, hey Gates, what's going on, brother? Nice. Thanks for coming by, you guys. What we're doing here is I'm taking my new press and I'm running some cartridge casing, some 556 and some 223 down on it, and I'm looking to see what type of run out I've got in the necks after resizing them with this brand new press that I just mounted.
And it's doing really good, even though it made a little noise on the RAM. He's getting OCD. I think it's good.
Tim S is here. Hello, Tim.
What's
See if it's. Yeah, I got some noise, Uncle Jim, but who knows?
He hasn't even run the RAM 10 times yet, so just keep running it. It'll be fine. Like I said, it'll make a dovetail groove and make it even more solid.
You gonna drive? You gonna drive his OCD crazy?
You'll
Yeah.
have an alignment notch in it, so don't worry about it. No, your first one was the only one that was 1.5 hour. Everything else was, damn near nuts. So.
Yeah, and that was probably all the linkages getting pressure put on them for the first time and aligning themselves, because from travel, the press lever, all the linkages on the sides of a press, they get knocked out of being square up and down. And then when you will press your first piece of brass, usually it will knock that alignment all back into up and down reference so that we don't have that issue.
They're
Gates wants
asking
to know
what press. It's the
press.
RCBS Summit. Look at that needle there. That's not even moving. Oh, right when I said that. That was your
that
finger.
movement was from my finger, I think.
Yeah, it was your finger. That one's dead nuts.
Most likely you get another one, you're gonna be happy with it.
Yeah. I don't care if it makes noise at this point, as long as it turns out quality ammunition. I don't have a problem with it.
No, it'll smooth out.
Yeah, it's going to have to quiet down eventually, because, I mean, that just is something that it has to do. I'm sure it will. Once it rubs that raw spot back and forth a few hundred times. And I'm doing 223 right now, and I'm not even, I had it where I'm just barely getting cam over, Uncle Jim, to where it locks.
Yeah.
I'm probably not even knocking this brass back far enough to even, I wonder, yeah, let me check that since I'm doing.
They want to see the press anyway, so pan back to the press.
Okay, yeah.
We know it's doing good on there. Here we go.
They designed it good. That Summit.
Well, it's what I like about it is its simplicity. The press is very simple. Is that a good shot of it, Uncle Jim?
Yeah,
You guys see?
Work the arm for them, in case they haven't seen the Summit.
See, it brings the actual die, the actual die down to the top of the shell holder, and I've just got it camming over enough to give it a little lock like that. So I'm gonna pull out my my Hornady comparator and check the amount of setback that I'm getting on these to make sure I'm at least getting 4,000, so that I know that it'll clear all my pieces of brass or clear all my chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting like maybe a little bit of a bump on that one. Okay. Now, so we did that part. Now we'll set this over here. We'll grab us out a Hornady comparator. Okay. Got here. Comparator. Headspace. Comparator Kit. Trying to see what is the comparator number.
I was trying to figure out what he was saying about the marble. I'm thinking a round marble. No, it's okay. Windowsill on the window is marble.
Oh, on my windowsill?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got marble ledges on all my seals.
Yeah, we got whatever the kitchen countertop is on ours. Yeah. Easy to clean.
Yeah.
Don't have to paint it and set crap on it.
Yeah, we've got tile on ours, but when I redo our kitchen, I want to do a granite. But they've got now where you don't use, like, when people think granite, they're like, oh my God, you're mining rocks that have been there for millions of years. And I'm like, no, what you don't understand is they get granite and stuff like that out of quarries that it's underground, just like coral. They are able to pull coral out of mines underground and use that for building fireplaces. I used to do fireplaces, the entire hearth and everything out of coral, right out of the ground. And when we would do the joints, I would use a little bottle brush with thin set mixed up to the exact color as the coral, and I would fill match the pin, because I would have to drill out the pieces and put all thread in them so that they would be supportable, and put it together, thin set it together, and then take that bottle brush and tap that grout joint all the way around, and it looks just like coral. Looks like it was seamless. All right, now I've got the comparator gauge, and I used, let's see what this blind guy from down around the corner told me. Let's see.
I like that marble as a windowsill too.
A330. A330. What is in the hell size do I need for 223 Remington?
Couldn't tell you. Don't do it.
Yeah, I know. I should know this, but it's been a while since I've. Where is it?
Yeah, what is with people wanting to leave things in the ground where you can't see it anyway? Come on now.
Okay, 223 Remington, that'll do it. So I got the right one just by guessing. How many times are you going to do that in your life and actually have it work?
Now mark it.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good idea.
Little magic marker.
If the old guys and wealthy people of this nation, since the industrial age, if they had thought like this new generation does, we would have never be where we're at now. Oh, we can't do the railroad. That damages the environment. We can't do oil. We can't do rock. We can't take that. That takes a mineral out.
Oh, yeah.
We wouldn't even be
What I want to say for those people is go out and live like a caveman for 2 years, if you live, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you go ahead and live like a Mormon for 2 years.
Yeah.
Mormons, well, a caveman's hard as hell. A Mormon, they've got wagons and they've got some machinery. People are like, oh, they live.
But that all came from the ground, and that was from chopping trees down to make your covered.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
You have to be a caveman. You pick your sticks off the ground. No, not even that. Let them suffer for 2 years and see how they feel about reality. And yes, Willie, pineapple on your pizza.
Let them have pineapple on their pizza.
But yeah, to say, oh, leave it in the ground, it was nature. Well, it's for us.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't understand. A lot of people, they think that I'm like, what are you saving I mean, I understand you want to have certain things left behind so that your kids will enjoy them too. And I tell them the exact same thing, like their constitutional freedoms that are God given and protected by our government. I want to leave that behind because you can live
Yeah.
in a sewer, but if you're a free man, that'll be the nicest sewer you've ever been in. You can live in a mansion and be locked up under socialistic rule and tell me how free you are to enjoy that mansion.
Mhm.
And that was extremely watered down, I know, but the point still exists.
Well, it's like, okay, say they're vegan. They won't eat meat because they're live animals. Plants are living too. Okay?
Oh yeah.
All right. So it's so hypocritical on everything they do.
Well, it's like those people that are like that. What was that girl's name? The girl that Vindenberg, or the young girl that went on all the news agencies and was like, I don't care how good your
Greta?
economy is. What was that girl's name? I can't remember her name, but it's not important. She was a puppet used by her parents. But the bottom line is, people like that, they don't realize that they're using um, video equipment that is used by rare earth mining of minerals. And what do you think they say to the gophers or the spiders or the groundhogs that are living there when they bring their big mining trucks in? You know what they say? Get the hell out of the way. We're trying to make money here. And you support it because you buy their computers, you buy their phones, you buy their everything they produce. So,
Yeah.
and then you want to come to me and act like you're holier than now. No, I'm sorry.
Well,
Get out
it's
of here with that bullshit.
you can break it down to the most simplest thing, and that would be you ask them, "Do you poop?" And if they say, "Yeah," you say, "What do you do with it?" Are you growing plants out of it and recycling? No. It's that simple. You're a polluter. Get the hell out of here.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. We're gonna zero this right there. And now that we got that zeroed, we'll take this down. We'll see what this cartridge case is gonna do with that little tiny bit. That's for a little tiny bit. This does come with a longer handle, ladies and gentlemen. This is a short handle that's designed for seating bullets and pistol cartridges, and that's why I'm having a little bit. And because I'm extremely weak, I had a couple of rough weeks where I wasn't feeling too good, and the sun set, on my back every day, and I had to work uphill both ways to work every day, and I had to deal with all that systemic racism and all that. Okay, I just stuck her in there. Now let's see what we're getting as far as what we're getting on negative. All right, where's the little dot here? Okay, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Wow, that's not. I bumped it back. It looks like 1,000th of an inch. So yeah, that to half a thousandth. So yeah, we're definitely going to want to go a little further down. So what I'll do is I'll pull this loose.
Okay, that's blowed out, what, 4 to 7 thousandths? Depending on the AR-15 it come out of.
Yeah, something very similar to that. And I'll also give you guys a little hint to new reloaders. You put a little inspection mark on the 12 o'clock position where you're getting hardly any setback on your shoulder. And what this is going to do is this is going to let me move this a little bit at a time and slowly advance that. And what I do is I don't tighten it all the way up. What I do now is I bring it down and I let it touch that shell plate and I put lock on it. So that, and then I tighten that shell hole, that lock ring up, and that makes sure that this die stays on a 90-degree square to the face of this case, or to the face of the shell holder, so that everything stays square. Now what I'm doing is I'm redoing the same piece of brass with no lube on it. And it's wanting to pull a little bit. You just got to be careful because it's still got some lubrication up inside there. I probably just stretched that neck. But let me go wipe it off and see what we get here. Usually what you're looking for is somewhere right around a quarter of a turn indexing from you being dead stop flat against the shell holder is going to give you usually set back to where you can get Sammy. Okay.
I use that marker too, Sharpie, quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. Yeah, I'm only getting like 1,000th now, maybe no 1,000th, 1,500th. So I got a little bit more setback, but still not where I need to be. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bump it up a little bit further and see what we get. Put this down. That locked against there so that it doesn't move. Tighten that thing down. Now we're not at a quarter. We're at like a probably about half of a quarter is what we're at. These are all going to have to be resized. That one. Go ahead and put this one in here. See what we got. Yeah, damn. It's getting a little bit tight now. This is where it's going to work this press and probably quiet it down because I'm starting to put enough force on it to where, yeah, I can already hear it. It's starting to quiet a little bit more. Still hearing a little bit enough roughness, but I'm hoping that it'll quiet down by tonight once we get this thing set up to knock these shell casings shoulders back 5 thousandths. Hoping we got closer there. Make sure we're still. All right.
See you, Willie.
Willie's going?
Yeah, you gotta run.
Okay. That's 2 thousandths right there. So we still are going to go. What we're going to do is we're going to do it the quarter because I think that that's going to be right where it needs to be. And if it doesn't, we can bump it back a little tiny bit. But that's a quarter right there.
I'm going to get me some lead eyes. Factory crimp, maybe a lead carbide.
Yeah, I definitely don't buy them right now.
Yeah. Well, it's firm.
Getting comfortable to wear this where you have to put your hand on this press. I don't want to smack my knuckles into it. All right, see what this one's doing. Now, on like a bolt action rifle, a couple thousandths, if you're loading for dangerous game, or you're going to be out and you're going to be hiking with your rifle or horseback riding, you then are going to use a crimp on bolt action rifles. When I'm shooting target ammunition for the range and non-dangerous conditions, no self-defense for the woods when I'm out hiking or anything, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crimp my ammunition that I need to make sure that it's going to work every time and that it's going to be jostled around or carried and beat up a little bit. You know, that you're always going to, when you're out camping and hiking and you trail riding or walking, you always run into things like that. Okay, this is giving me 4 thousandths knockback, which is basically what I'm looking for. What I'll do is I'll advance it a touch more, just a touch, and that's going to put me right at a tiny bit past 1/4 of an inch.
Lakeview Outdoors is in the house.
Lakeview, what is going on, brother from Utah? I got all my brothers in the house from Utah tonight. Uncle Jim, Dead Horse, and all we're missing is Jerry 1911. Turn that off. Put that right there. And bam. Get that thing on there tight. And when I tell you fellas tight on these rings, you don't have to put a wrench on here and kill them. There's an O-ring underneath these Lee rings, and you just tighten them down finger tight, snug. That's all you got to do.
Echo Tim S has got a question. You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
It says, okay, educate me. Are they 5.56 cases? Is that why you're bumping the shoulders?
No.
Go ahead.
They are 5.56 and 223 mixed head stamp range pickups. This is the stuff. This is the stuff that you just pick up from the range and just, dump in your bag so that you get, cheap reloads.
Bumping shoulders is kind of always not accurate. Some people think bumping shoulders is bumping it a little bit, but bumping shoulders could be even bumping 4,000.
Yeah, I mean, bumping shoulders back, there's a couple of different philosophies on it and why people do it, how much to do it. People argue about whether neck sizing and case. I neck size a lot, and the reason why I do it is because it works. Me and Eagle Eye Kenny, we have been messing around with the 308 Winchester cartridge. I've been doing it for 6 years since I started reloading. The 458 SOCOM and the 308 Winchester cartridge are both two of my favorites. And when I bump shoulders back, I'm only doing it for one reason, so that the cartridge case will re-chamber in my rifle. When I'm reloading semi-automatic rifle ammunition, it's very important that I knock that shoulder back a minimum of 4 thousandths from wherever it was. I even cranked my die down to give me a little bit more than 4 thousandths. I'm hoping to get about a 5 thousandth bump back. Because say I have a guy that I picked his brass up and he's firing cartridge casings that are brand new, but out of a 10-year-old rifle that's had 50, 60,000 rounds fired aggressively, where he didn't let the barrel cool down and he just magazine dumped. His chamber is going to be wore out, and it's going to make some really big brass. So when I resize that brass, it may take 2 times of sizing that brass before it gets a memory to stay shrunk. Sometimes you'll come across a piece of brass that never resizes small again. I mean, it'll size back down. You go an hour later to throw it in your chamber gauge, and it won't fit in. It'll fit in as soon as you take it out of the die, but it won't fit in an hour later because it goes back to the memory of that large chamber it was fired out of.
Spring back.
Mm-hmm.
What is that switch for coming out the hole in the table? Light?
Yeah, my whole table's wired so that I can plug in inline fabrication lights at any of my 3 setup stations.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this one, if anybody's out there in the comments can let me know if KMF UFO lighting system makes a lighting system for the Summit RCBS press. I'd be very thankful. The guys, and I recommend using the fellas over at KMF UFO lighting. It's a military-owned, veteran-run, and employs all veterans at his shop, and he possibly makes some of the best lighting kits on the market today. They're super bright. He uses 3M body trim adhesive that sticks to your press like glue and has a lifetime warranty on them. You have a problem, you call him, and he'll get you a new piece in the mail the following business day.
That might be a tricky press to light.
Well, what I was thinking, Jim, was have it come up from the back and attach the lights to the actual piece here that the die goes in, and then leave enough slack so that it can go up and down.
Now, a hillbilly would see your other hole for your handle, stick a little flashlight in there, and then you get blinded whenever you come on the upstroke. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. And then it goes down. Yeah. So it's like blink going up and then down. Oh, well. Curtis wants to know if you're still going to get a 0 press. Did you hear that echo?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah.
Curtis. Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it, Curtis. I really am. And the other thing that I'm thinking about is an RL 1100. And basically, if I get an RL 1100, I could turn out 223 Remington all day long. And I have a couple of shops that would probably buy the ammunition from me. And they're buddies of mine. They're actually a couple of the ranges I worked at before. And when I ran my business here in St. Pete, building firearms with a manufacturing FFL, my partner and me supplied rifles when they would want custom rifles, customers to a lot of the stores. And we do modifications to customers' rifles and all kinds of stuff. But the Zero Press is definitely on my mind. I was just trying to think of a way to make a little bit of money on the side to pay for more ammunition. So right now I'm at 45 hundredths of an inch. That's 5 thousandths. So I'm right where I want to be now. So now we should be at 5 thousandths every cartridge. We'll go ahead and check another one. So Jim, what do you do most of your reloading on? Your 4-hole turret?
Yeah, when I'm farting around, that's definitely the quickest one to switch over. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love my 4-hole turret. The whole design of the turret itself is absolutely amazing. How the whole turret will come up and lock, and it takes all of the deflection out.
Mm-hmm. That one's just really handy if you do what I do and just load like 4 different calibers in one, day, 5 of each, and go shoot them and come back and say, oh yeah, that one was okay. The Dylan I got on 9mm right now. And then the single stage is the bitch, whatever needs doing.
Yeah, see right here I'm getting 7 thousandths now out of this cartridge. But the probability of this is probably that this cartridge was shot out of a gun with a tighter chamber. So it jumped it a little bit back further.
Wow.
Or I over adjusted the die a little bit. But either way, 7 thousandths ain't going to hurt nothing. It's just going to work the brass a little harder when it's coming back and forth.
How many reloads you typically get out of your 223 brass?
5 or 6 before I notice, the head starting to get warped or the primer pocket. It's either the head or the primer pocket. I hardly ever have neck split on a 223 or 5.56. It's usually always, some of them, when I put them in the press, the cartridge is leaning over to one side because the head's already so warped on it from just an overgassed carbine link gas system.
Or the extractor bump.
Or the
makes it hard to get in the shell holder.
Yep.
Shooting connection's coming up shortly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What time is it getting to be?
13 minutes till 8.
Okay, so we want to be off before they come on because Jamie is good buddy of mine, and I don't want to step on his toes. Okay, this one's reading 5,500, 5,000, 5.5 thousandths of run out, which is fine. That means that 7 is just a high average, and I'm going to be right about where I need to be on all these. So that's pretty cool. Okay, and another thing, I wanted to give a shout out. Georgia Shooting Connection will be after this show. So we'll be continuing on to the Georgia Shooting Connection. I'm not sure what Jamie's got planned for tonight, but make sure you follow the next show in line tonight. And I am going to come back on at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for a late night chat to finish up on this press and to have a little bit of a hangout after everyone's shows are over. And I will also have an open invitation for people if they want to come on and shoot the shit and discuss what I'm doing. I'm going to be working on this press and doing some reloading. I'm going to be doing some cases and stuff like that, and I may even break out primers, powder, and go ahead and load up 100 rounds at 223. But I'm going to call it. So I want to thank my guests, and I want to run down the James Stewart. Let's see, Kingpin, Pony, and I always mess up on this one. Let's see, what did he say? ABBA, AAB, and I always mess you up, brother. I want to say you told me how to remember it too. The one saying, Captain
Ahab. Ahab?
Yes.
Yeah, I always call him AAB, but okay, Captain Ahab.
Yeah, Ahab. Kingpin, Ahab, Pony 47, sir, thank you very much for coming in. Ahab. All right, brother. Thank you. DJ Play Nice, it's always a pleasure. And you have a safe night as well. And I expect to see you, DJ Play Nice, 10:30 Eastern on my late night chit chat. We're going to be having a good one tonight, just shooting the shit and doing some reloading like we were doing here. Everybody on the panel's re-invited back. We'll have openings, so if you guys want to come and enjoy, please go and check out Jamie on the Georgia Shooting Connection next. And everyone have a great night. And I'm going to pass it off to Uncle Jim.
Good night, guys.
Pass it off to AR Gun 1776.
Good night, everyone. Have a good one.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. You have a great evening.
Take care.